If you've ever looked at a U.S. citizenship test, you might come across this question. What are two of the rights promised by the Declaration of Independence? At first glance, it seems simple enough. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Just pick two, right? But the problem with this question lies in how it suggests we can break a cohesive philosophy into isolated pieces. But this distorts its true meaning. The Declaration does not offer a mere list of rights. It establishes a carefully balanced framework where each right depends on the others. To name only two is to misunderstand the whole. These rights do not function in isolation. Each sustains a just society only when working in harmony. Choosing just two is like pulling legs off a tripod and expecting it to stand. The real power of the Declaration isn't in individual promises, but in how they work together to form a foundation strong enough to hold up an entire nation. In the sweltering summer of 1776, a young Thomas Jefferson sat in a quiet room in Philadelphia, quill in hand, drafting words that would shape the destiny of a nation. Tasked with justifying the American colonies' break from British rule, he sought to capture not only their grievances, but the very essence of human freedom. With ink and conviction, he wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." These words became more than a declaration. They formed the philosophical foundation of a new nation. But what do these rights truly mean? More importantly, why did Jefferson choose them, and how do they function together? Jefferson did not simply list three separate ideals, he named three interdependent forces that together create a stable and just society. Each right relies on and reinforces the others, much like the three legs of a sturdy stool. At the core of everything is life. Without it, no other rights matter. The founders recognized that a government's first duty is to protect its citizens from unjust harm, whether from tyranny, violence, or oppression. Life is sacred, but it is not enough on its own. A life without freedom is merely survival. With life secured, liberty gives it meaning, the right to think, speak, and act freely. The American Revolution was fought for this principle, self-governance over subjugation. Yet, liberty is more than the absence of oppression. It is the power to shape one's own destiny. Freedom without purpose, however, can lead to chaos. Liberty must serve something greater. That greater purpose is found in the pursuit of happiness. Jefferson could have written property, as John Locke had before him, but he chose something broader. This was not just about material wealth. It was about fulfillment, purpose, and self-determination. Happiness was not guaranteed, but the right to pursue it was. A society that values life and liberty must also allow its people to seek personal and collective well-being. Together, these three rights form a self-reinforcing structure. Life gives liberty its necessity, liberty gives happiness its opportunity, and happiness gives life its meaning. Jefferson, deeply influenced by Enlightenment philosophy and Masonic principles, understood the power of a stable foundation. He did not choose three rights arbitrarily. He built them as a tripod, each leg essential to the structure, each dependent on the others to hold firm. Remove one, and the entire framework collapses. Life is the first principle, the undeniable starting point. Without life, liberty is meaningless, and happiness is an impossibility. It is the right most easily understood, the most fundamental, yet it is not sufficient on its own. A life without liberty is mere existence, a life under tyranny or oppression where one breathes but does not truly live. Liberty gives life its motion, its breath, its possibility. It is not just freedom from chains, but the ability to choose, to speak, to act, to believe, to shape one's own destiny. Yet liberty without life to ground it is an illusion, and liberty without purpose is reckless. If freedom exists only for its own sake, disconnected from the well-being of the people, it can become destructive. The pursuit of happiness gives liberty its direction, its moral compass. It is the recognition that life and freedom are not just for survival, but for fulfillment, for the betterment of oneself and society. This is not the fleeting happiness of pleasure or indulgence, but the deeper sense of meaning, of striving towards something greater. A people with life and liberty but no opportunity to pursue happiness are trapped in stagnation, unable to build, create, or dream. Only when all three rights stand together does the system endure, steady and unshakable. To ask for only two is to misunderstand the Declaration's true genius. These rights are not separate gifts, but an inseparable foundation, designed to hold a nation together.